Welcome to Videorial W07005 Microsoft Word Basics, the Home Menu Part 3, Paragraph Formatting. Okay, I'll start by opening Microsoft Word. Now, this Videorial focuses on this area of the Home menu, which is the default menu that opens when you first open Word, and it sits right in the middle of the ribbon. This area at the top is called the ribbon. Okay, now all the formatting or functionality or features in this area relate to paragraph text. Okay, so before I can show you how to use it, I need some paragraph text. Now, this website's super useful, Ipsum. It uses what's called Lorem Ipsum, which is something that is used a lot in publishing. When you're designing a magazine and you don't actually have any articles to place into the magazine to see what it looks like, you can put in dummy text. It's royalty-free text. Okay, it's, I think, Latin. Doesn't particularly mean anything as far as I know, but the structure, line length, word length, it mimics Western style writing. So it's very good for putting in as dummy text if you want to practice or design something. I'll just paste this in. I've just copied and pasted some text. Now you'll notice that it's added some extra carriage returns. I'll just delete those. Now, when I double click inside a paragraph, it highlights it using this grey colour. Okay, you'll notice at the bottom here some additional space. That is default paragraph formatting. You'll also notice that there's a set distance between lines. That's line spacing. Okay, these are default values that are set by Word based on what they think is appropriate for most circumstances. Okay, anyway, back to the paragraph menu. This area here, I'm going to start in the bottom left hand corner, alignment. Now, paragraph formatting is generally speaking left aligned. Okay, if I apply center alignment, it doesn't look so good. I never have need to use it. I would always stick with left alignment. You might choose that you right aligned, but one alignment that does come up quite frequently, not necessarily in a Word document but in desktop publishing, in magazines, is full justification. And what it does is that it adds extra space to make it nice and even on both sides of the text. Very useful in magazines when you want it very defined in columns, looking lovely. Okay, in a normal Word document, for example, a letter of application, you would just use left aligned. Okay, this other button here is for other languages. Some languages, for example, Thai, don't use spaces in the same way that Western languages do, so it can't add spaces in the same places to fill the text across the page to make it even on both sides. So you can use this button to add appropriate spacing so that you can apply justification using different languages. Okay, now this button here, the line spacing, this is probably for me the most frequently used button with regard to paragraph text. Okay, I'll open it by clicking it. Now, this is line spacing. This is the amount of space between each line. You'll see as I increase it, it adds extra space. Now, this is particularly useful in circumstances where you're writing something but somebody might be annotating it or marking it. Quite often, if you're doing a piece of work for university, the lecturer or the examiner or whoever will recommend that you use double spacing so that he has room to write comments without overwriting your text. Okay, now this space at the before and after a paragraph, you can modify that very simply by either just adding space or removing it. This is kind of like a workflow function. It speeds up the process of formatting. Okay, add space afterwards. Anyway, I never use these options. I always choose to set my own line spacing. So I'll remove line spacing. Not line spacing, sorry, paragraph spacing. I'm going to go in here and set my own formatting. Okay, now again, this dialog box will enable me to assign alignment. Indentation. This is quite interesting. You can indent a paragraph for whatever reason, like you're including a quote or something like that. You might choose to indent it. You can indent it and it will give you a preview of how it's going to look down here in this preview area. Okay? You can indent from the left. You can indent from the right. And all it will do is shunt the text across. Now that will be more defined if you're using full justification. Okay? You can indent the first line. Again, you can see it here. You can indent, you can use hanging indents, whereby the first line of the text is normal and each subsequent line after that hangs off the other. Okay? Very straightforward. I'll just quickly show you what it looks like on the screen. There we go, indented. Now, for your information, you can actually do that manually. If you've got the ruler displayed, which you can turn on and off via the view menu, you can actually do that manually by dragging the square box underneath these two triangle shapes. Okay. Now, if you want the hanging indent, you just move this one. Click, drag it back. If you want the other version, so going into that dialog box, basically you're doing that. Okay. Indents. Very straightforward. Now, go back into line space. This area here I use an enormous amount for tweaking a document to add and decrease space between paragraphs, especially if there's a limit on something like the size of the letter that you're allowed to submit for a job application. One side of A4 is the limit. You might choose to tweak the document by changing font size and the space between paragraphs, etc., to try and get it to fit on a page. Okay, so I can add some space before. Again, preview. It goes up and down in increments of 6, not sure why, but you can specifically type a number. Let's say 7 point before, and I'm going to go for 12 point after. Now, this is where the line spacing options can be set. I normally set that to single, although it's up to you. I don't like the idea of Word dictating to me how my document should look, so I'm very obsessed about doing my own thing, so I tend to turn a lot of the default things off. So anyway, let's have a look what that looks like. Yeah, that's okay. Let's just do the same to this section. Line spacing 7, 12. Well, it kind of looks okay, but actually it's a bit back to front, so I'll just select. Generally speaking, you'd do that. There you go, that looks nicer. Okay, so that's the dialog box that enables me to change and set line spacing options. Now, I can also, using this button here, apply some colour to the background of the text. It's quite useful in desktop publishing or if you're doing websites, but quite frankly, Microsoft Word isn't the best program for doing desktop publishing, but this is functionality that it's inherited from Publisher. Okay, so you could apply colour. You can also apply borders to kind of encase some text. Again, useful for doing things like quotes. Again, you can indent. So you can do all sorts of really great effects, but mostly to do with desktop publishing. This button here will turn on and off throughout the document the annotation, the marking. Okay, a dot denotes a space. This, I think, is a carriage return or a line break or something like that. Not sure why you'd use it. I never use it, but it's there if you need it. Now, this button here, this is very useful. This is, again, inherited from another Microsoft Office application, Excel, whereby you can actually order things alphabetically or numerically. I'll just show you. Stan, David, Ivan, James. Okay, now I'm going to select these. Again, note the line spacing and the paragraph spacing, okay, extra spacing. If I click this button here, I can just choose to ascend, ascending. Now what that will do is put it in alphabetical order. Despite the fact it's going down the page, what ascending means is it goes from A to Z, A, B, C, ascending. Okay, let's see what that does. There we go. David is first, I, J, S. Okay, so this can be used not only in text that's just like in a list. Let's just see what it does if we order it by paragraph. So I'm going to just hit Control A to select all the text. I'm going to hit the button again and just click OK. Now look what's happened. David, it's put it in order. Oh, there's a reminder for me. I've got a meeting in 10 minutes. So quite useful. You might or you might not use it. Moving very swiftly on. Indents, which we talked about earlier, you can do this incrementally. Again, speeding things up for you, allowing you to increment by a given amount. Indents, again, you can do it like this, or you can do it like that. It's up to you. Your boss will probably like the fact that these sorts of things are integrated into this application. It speeds up workflow, makes you more efficient, you get more work done, your boss is happy. Finally, bullets. Not quite sure exactly why they're in the paragraph formatting section of this of the home menu. But I suppose bullets are usually found inside other paragraphs or between other paragraphs, and they are actually, a lot of the formatting is similar to the formatting that you'd apply for a paragraph. So anyway, I'll just go back a few steps to get my list of names back. Undo, 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 undo. Right, here we go. So let's say, for example, I want to add just a normal bulleted list. Now, the bullet that it uses will be the last one that was used. If you've not used it, it will default to round. It will indent it at a given amount. This is where it starts. This is where the text starts. Now, it usually puts a large amount of space in here. I don't particularly like that, so I'm going to click and drag. Okay. Now, I can change it by going into here. Again, recently used. I, for some reason, like the square bullets. Okay. I'm of an age where I like things to line up and be angular, and if you know what I mean. Now, the other thing that's useful to know is if I turn that red and that blue, it also changes the bullet. But if I want the bullets to be all a single colour, what I do is if you just click just to the left of the top bullet, you can set all the bullets to the same colour. Useful technique, okay? Now, that takes care of default or library bullets. You can choose your own symbol. You can define your own. Select the symbol or even a picture and the font you want to use. Very straightforward. You can even choose the alignment. Okay. The same rules apply for numbered lists. You can just select from one of the options, or you can go in and define your own, i.e. whether it's Roman numerals and so on and so forth. Okay. This one, multi-level. Same. You can use combinations of numbers and letters, or you can go in and create your own multi-level list. Now, it looks really complicated, especially when you expand the dialog box. But basically what you're doing is you're just clicking on the numbers, and this is like the different levels, okay? And you can apply different formatting for different levels. It looks more complicated than it is. You just choose the options, maybe something to play about with. Multi-level bulleted or numbered lists or combinations of the two are usually used in, I don't know, publishing for like indexes or tables of contents and things like that. But to be honest, Word will do that automatically for you anyway, within one of the other menus, okay? In the insert menu, actually. That is pretty much it for the paragraph formatting section of the home menu. Thank you for watching.